105 GCI, the size #1 for hip hop and R&B. Good morning to you, Chicago. It's Kyle, Kendra G, Leon Rogers. And we have a guest here this morning, man. This is kind of a very important interview today. We want to introduce and we want to bring on the show today Kenneka Jenkins' mother, Miss Teresa Martin. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
We know you're going through a difficult time, a tough time, and there's a lot of emotions and feelings and just a lot that you're dealing with at the moment. So up front, we just want to say thank you for taking the time to come and join us and speak with us today.
Thank you all for having me.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
So
Absolutely.
for those who, I'm assuming everyone in Chicago knows the story of Kenneka Jenkins by now, but Kyle, just a little backstory. The 19-year-old girl who was found frozen in a freezer in the Rosemont Crown Plaza Hotel.
That's right.
So let's start there. Let's start the night that you got the phone call about your daughter.
Okay. I received a phone call, 4:34 in the morning, from her friend stating to me that my daughter's missing. They can't find her. So I asked them, could they take their time, just have a little patience at first to see if they can find her. In the background, I hear one of the other friends stating, she tired of waiting, she tired of this, getting a little rowdy. So I asked them to calm down and just bring my car to me.
Because your daughter because they were at the hotel for a party, and your daughter was the driver of the night.
Yes, my daughter was the driver of the night.
They had her keys at this moment.
They had her keys. And they never mentioned that they had a phone until after I got off the phone with one friend. I called her phone just to hear other friend state to me that I have a phone too. So I asked them, I said, y'all, wait, hold on. You have my car keys and her cell phone? I knew something wasn't right.
Right. So, after that story, you obviously went to the hotel and began the search for your daughter. And the hotel at first wasn't as cooperative, correct?
No, they wasn't.
Okay.
From when me speaking with their friends, when the hotel, the friends stated to me that they was looking for, because I asked them, to continuously look for it at first.
Right.
And she said that they was making them leave. The hotel was,
They were trying to kick him out that
Yes, they
night?
were going to kick him out that night.
And
because
this is like about 4 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, before.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They was going to kick them out if they leave and call the police on them to arrest them.
Now, why were they threatening to do that? Just because they were being too rowdy, making too much noise?
No, because they stated to me that they told them that my daughter was missing. They can't find her.
And they felt like that was reason to kick everybody out?
Yes, obviously.
When was, the friends that called you, when was their last time that they saw your daughter, Kenneka, alive? What's their last reaction and interaction with Kenneka?
Well, they stated to me it was because I asked them how long she been missing, and they said it was 2 hours before they called me. I asked them why didn't they call me before. They said because one of the friends didn't want me to know that my daughter was missing. The one that left my house with Kenneka.
Right. Now, but did they say how she broke from the group? Like, how did she break away from the group?
Right.
Okay, it was like 2 different stories. First, that day that she came, she came up missing, they stated that they left her in the front lobby, which is on my 911 call.
Okay.
Because that's what they told me. Then later on that day, in the afternoon, headed towards the evening, they stated to me they left her upstairs by the room door, So
they changed where they saw her last?
Yes.
But isn't there a point, if I recall correctly, when they released the videotapes, there was a point where she got out the elevator, but somebody was in the elevator? Am I recalling that wrong?
Those were, I think, the allegations of people saying that they were in the elevator. Because there's been so many conspiracy theories when it comes to what happened with your daughter, Kenneka.
So we didn't see anybody in the elevator with her?
No, not in the videos, not that I saw. Did you guys see anything different? No, we didn't see anything with that. No.
Okay.
But again, so many conspiracy theories were being thrown out there. So now, so you're at the hotel, you find her. So when do they actually, from when you get to the hotel, when does the hotel finally find your daughter in the freezer?
Well, once I arrived, they finally found her after the 3rd time of us coming in, me and my family coming up to the hotel begging for help from the hotel, pleading with them, and also Rosemont Police Department.
So it was like hours. Like, was it like 36 hours?
Yes, it was like 36 hours.
I have a question about why, if somebody says that their daughter is missing in their hotel, why wouldn't they be willing to help? Did they give you a reason as to, we're not concerned, she'll just show up, she's probably okay, and they just blew it off? Did they have a reason for why they're not willing to help at that point?
Well, they stated to me that, basically it wasn't their concern, the hotel, Crown Plaza, and manager at the time. That's a police matter.
Oh, it's a police matter.
Mm-hmm.
And the police probably say a person has to be missing for 48 hours in order for you to file an official report.
24.
24 hours. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, it's more than 2 hours.
Yes.
Okay.
So when did they finally go look through the tapes to realize, okay, she really was at this hotel? So I guess I'm trying to figure out, how did they discover her in the freezer?
Okay, when my daughter went up there.
Your other daughter?
Yes, my other daughter, Lenore.
Okay.
When she went up to the hotel, when I came, after me returning back home, she headed out the door as I was coming in, her and two of her friends. And when they got up to the hotel, they asked, the person at the front desk if they can look on the cameras and see once again, if they see, if Kenneka was there.
Right.
And they stated to her also as well that it was a police matter. So she calls 911 as well. And the police suggested that and told her that he couldn't leave and come up to the hotel to meet her. She would have to come down to the police station. Once she came, got to the police station and made the report, the missing person report, the only reason that Crown Plaza Police Department came back up to the hotel, not because of my daughter was missing, not because of the missing person report, was because Lenore forgot to put her signature on the missing person report paper.
Right.
So
this is the Rosemont Police.
Yes,
correct?
the Rosemont Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
So once he got there, and he had called and asked her where was she. She stated that she's back up at the hotel. She's telling the person at the front desk at the hotel that now she has a missing person report number. She stated, could they look at the cameras, and they still deny her, to see if her sister was missing. She asked the Rosemont police officer, if he can give her a copy of the police report. He stated to her it'll take all day, he can't give her a copy. So she asked him, could she have the number to the missing person report. So upon his arrival, Lenore asked him, could you please look at the cameras, the security cameras, to see if they see Kenneka. Right. And he finally agreed he would. He went into the security office, from my understanding.
And this is the officer that we're talking about right now?
The officer that made out the missing person report.
Okay.
Lenore stated to me that he went in there like 5 minutes, came back out, and stated that on the missing person report, that he searched front and back, and he did not see Kenneka entering or exiting the building.
So that means she wasn't there, according to them.
According to them, she wasn't there.
Okay. So who found Kenneka in the freezer? And did they find her just by accident, or did they find her because they were looking at the videos?
Okay, well, when we was there, the Rosemont Police Department stated that they're the ones that found Kenneka. But with me looking at the news and reading in the newspapers, an employee found her. So that's a good question. I really wouldn't.
So you don't know who?
You're not for sure.
I'm not for sure.
Right.
But you actually, they brought you to see Kenneka while she was in the freezer.
After being denied at first, because I asked them, and I went online on Facebook because I needed help. I was looking for help, and I started timing myself basically to let them know, just in case if something like this come up, they couldn't say that I wasn't, conscious enough. Right, you know what I'm saying? Like I was out of my mind or whatever. Right. And I stated, because I had made a post on Facebook before that, when I was in the search of Kenneka, that I needed help. If somebody see my daughter, to inform me, and after I made this live video, I re-entered the hotel, and I asked them, how was she laying? The head detective, how was she laying? He stated she was laying on her side. And I said, Was she laying? How was the legs? Was they curved? Curved. Like in a fetal
Fetal position.
Yes. He said no, they were straight. I said okay. Next question: can I see my daughter? How she died? How she laid in the freezer? As I wanted to see her. He said the detective stated yes. An hour or two went past, give or take. The sergeant come in with a very rude attitude. No, you cannot see her. It's against our procedures, our policy. You can't see her. So I asked him, with the card that the leading detective gave me, is it possible that he can write his name on the back of the card? He stated yes. After he stated yes, I said, and as well as your badge number. And I hear him whisper to the detective, badge number. So then he said, as everybody getting ready to round up to go, he said, you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna speak with the coroners and see what they can do. So here we go, hours later. 5 hours, maybe a little bit more, but rounding it off, 5 hours later, they come to me and states, only I could come see her. Me, I'm allowed, and I could bring one more other person with me. That's when they allowed me. They walked us back there. They said, wait, this is a crime scene. You are not allowed to take any photos. You can't touch, and don't touch anything. And they watched us as if we was there. Like we was involved in it. It seemed like the crime scene was on us, not what went on with my daughter.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you see your daughter in the freezer now. To bring up to date.
No, I'm sorry. No, at this time, they had removed her from the freezer. I asked them. Yes, they removed her from the freezer. When they removed her from the freezer, by the time we came 5 hours or plus later, later, rounding it off, Kenneka was laying on a stretcher in a white body bag already.
So you never saw her?
I never saw her. I never saw her. They stated as well that there was no signs of foul play.
Right.
Like it was just a normal look.
That's what they said.
No signs of sexual harassment or anything.
Right. So do you believe differently?
From seeing the pictures, yes, I believe different.
Because the pictures came out. Before that, though, the video came out. So when we saw the video of her trying to find her way throughout the hotel, what did you think about the videos?
That she was wandering in the hotel and she needed help. And, she had a hotel, a 5-star hotel.
Right.
I know it was surveillance. Just like on each floor, they might not have cameras all through the hotel, but entering and exiting the elevator, there are cameras.
But it is her on the camera because, like I said, so many conspiracy theories. Some people said that's not even her on the video. You do believe it was your daughter on the video?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe they're saying that one part of the video when she's walking towards the refrigerator, that's her last time being shown on videotape? So do you believe she could have just literally walked in there and got locked into the freezer, and what they're saying to be true is she got locked into the freezer and she died because of the coldness? Do you think that could be true?
Well, see, we wouldn't even be sitting here today to guess it. It was the camera. As we went in there, if you could look at the video, me and my daughter, which is some of the parts what we did, as we went in there, I'm looking at my daughter, and I looked in her face. She had a disgusted look on her face. That's an angry look, or somebody agitating her, this type of look. So I'm looking, and then I asked them, I said, can I see the freezer? Because I work in the cafeteria. So you can't tell me that she walked in this freezer and couldn't get out, because of our freezers. And not only that, me working within the CPS, cafeterias, before, every freezer has a release button or some type of handle, whereas you can't get locked in this freezer unless you've been locked on the outside. You get locked in from the outside.
Which would have taken, obviously, somebody else to do purposely.
To do it, right.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
what you're saying.
Yes.
There's no way she could lock herself in by herself.
Exactly. So once entering, and I see the freezer, now the leading detective stated to me, she just walked in the freezer. Mm-hmm. This is before I told him I worked within the cafeteria.
Right.
She walked in the freezer, and when she walked in the freezer, she walked in. He never mentioned it was a double freezer. Walked in the freezer, closed the door behind herself, and just froze to death.
Right.
So, I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
I said, so she couldn't get out? He said, no, she couldn't get out. Because once you locked in, you locked in.
Right. But he doesn't know what you know about freezers at that time.
Exactly.
Right.
Did you go into the actual freezer that your daughter was in? Did you try to see what your the theory, how you can get out of it if you're in that particular freezer?
Okay, well, I'll tell you like this. We wasn't ever to actually go inside their freezer, but they had both of the doors open. I asked him when I first went back there, so you're saying it's a double freezer? He said, yes, but on our way back there, if you can see in the video, I'm pointing my finger. I'm looking for cameras. I'm looking for cameras because that's my purpose, because you can't tell me this happened with no camera in around, and every time I point, I see a camera. Except when we go by the freezer, that's blocked off, which it was a camera above that freezer. And, okay, we're going to go back to that. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. When I go back to the freezer, they had both of the doors open. And I'm like, here go a glow-in-the-dark plastic release button, big white glow-in-the-dark. I said, so is this a release button? He said, the detective said, yes. And the sergeant standing back there with us as well. As I said, we were being watched as if we're the criminal, or we did this to my daughter, as if we was going to get arrested. So he stated, I asked him with the other freezer, the second door. I said, is this a release button? Big white button. Maybe, as they say, you couldn't see, but it was lightning in the freezer. And only thing we saw on the floor was a big piece of ice made in a triangle. Wow. And I'm like, okay. I said, so I that's when I stated, I work in the cafeteria. I've been working there for 7 years. I say, there shouldn't have been no way that she shouldn't have been able to get out these doors. I thought you told me, and I asked the detective, you said that she couldn't get out. How is that when is release buttons on each one of these doors? And he just shook his head, He doesn't
understand.
So, where are you now as far as what it is that you want to see? They've closed the case officially. I know that you guys are not happy about that, and you want to continue the investigation. So, what do you want to see happen? Where do you see this going from here? Are you trying to get more people to come in and reopen the case? What is it that you want to do? Yes,
I would love for the FBI to come in. The reason why I say that, they stated it was a natural cause before any medical examiner or anything. So the Rosemont Police Department knew this would happen with no professionals. They said it wasn't no sexual harassment or any, assaults or whatever.
Not been assaulted sexually. Right.
Exactly. But how is that? From looking at the pictures, obviously you'll see that it was something going on. At least, with that. If you would have just saw it without being a professional doctor or whatever, examiner or whatever, first thought would have been them being professional cops. Hey, it's something had to go on. And then to come to find out, after all that, at the closing meeting, my daughter asked them, did you all take fingerprints? And they said no. Why not?
Right.
Why not?
Dust the body, right?
You know what I'm saying? Because I work in the cafeteria once, as I mentioned. And in the cafeteria, you got to clean up behind yourself.
Yeah.
That's sanitation,
So, question, well, two things. One is because the Rosemont police did actually turn down, because the FBI, didn't the FBI one time make an offer?
If they were reached out for assistance.
And so Rosemont turned that down, correct? They didn't want to have anything to do with the FBI coming in.
Allegedly
on the case. Secondly, was the question ever presented to the people of the hotel, why was this freezer even still in operation if it wasn't being used? Because I'm under the kitchen was supposed to be closed. I'm under understanding that kitchen was closed and that stuff wasn't even being used. So why even have it on? Because then if she goes in there, she's just inside a room. She's not inside a freezing room. Did that ever come up in conversations with the hotel?
No, I never found out about this freezer wasn't working or none of that until after the fact. I'm hearing it from the media or whatever, and my attorney as well, after
she's gone.
Right, she's gone. Right. And then at the meeting, the sergeant said they'd had numerous of murders deaths or whatever, however he named it. Don't quote me. He said, but this is the first time we ever had to deal with an attorney. And rolled his eyes at me like, how could you be mad at me when I'm the one's taking the loss? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, where do you...
Like you was doing something.
Exactly.
Right. If nothing else, people should have been treating you with compassion.
Exactly.
If nothing else.
And with her cell phone, they did ask me twice for her phone. And you know why? I was afraid to go back up there because the next day I asked the detective when he called my phone and when he was asking me about her phone and to come up there, come back to the Rosemont Police Department to come up there, and I was not going by myself because I knew I needed some help.
Right.
Yeah.
The hotel offered to pay for Kenneka's funeral. Did you accept their offer?
Okay. They offered to pay for her funeral.
Yes.
You know why I did not accept? I refused. Because even though they offered to pay for it, they never once gave me their condolences. Well, of course, they probably did after I made initial clues to Facebook and the media. How could you offer to pay? You all don't care. It's not about money. It's not about money. That's why I've reached out to the world, right. For help. And I'm still asking for help because something's just not right.
I want to bring up some of the activists. Actually, how I got in contact with you was via Andrew Holmes. He's the one that gave me your number, and we actually talked the night prior to when the videos were released. And I know you were upset with him because what happened with that? Did he have the right to go? Because he was the first person to talk about the videotapes. Did he have that right from you to do that?
No, he did not. Okay, first of all, Andrew Holmes just popped up from nowhere. He stated to me, I asked him when he called my phone, who gave you my number? Who is you? He stated that he was somebody because I'm asking for help. Right. So I'm figuring, he coming to help me. And he stated to me that he was from Chicago Police Department. He's a special investigator, and he's going to get me answers. So,
special investigator?
Yeah, that's what he stated to me.
So you were misled?
Yes, I was misled.
Okay.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. So
do you have any communication with him now or no?
No.
Okay.
There's no need.
Right.
I know other activists, I know from Facebook you accused of them raising money without your knowledge all the way for the protest.
Yes.
So what was that situation? Because they were saying that, money's necessary if someone gets arrested and for the buses, and that they explained that to you and you were okay if they got money to take care of those situations.
Listen, let me tell you something. I didn't know my purpose of being out there. I thank God for everybody. Whichever way they did it, I asked for help. When you ask for help, you can't direct which way this help going to go. But as far as them collecting money, I never knew about it until I made a status. I wish I would have known. I would have actually wrote down a date. See, like I said, I did timing again. And I went on Facebook to let people know that I did not know, it was, when they collected their money, I was not aware of it.
Okay.
2 days later, I don't know how many days. When I found out, the day I found out, they stated to me that they're gonna give me a ledger, and before we leave the protest that day, and I'm like, honest, I'm like, okay, what is this? And they stated to me that it was funds that they had collected because of the protest, and I'm like, oh, okay. They said, what do you want to do? They asked me what I want to do with it. I said, well, if you all collected for the protest, save it. And it was some people got locked up, and they was like, they was like, somebody got locked up. I said, well, go bond it out. Don't y'all have that money? I didn't want to touch it because if they collected if that's what they was doing, then I'm a firm believer. If this is what you're doing, for whatever reason, y'all decide to collect it without my knowledge, finish doing what y'all doing. It's not about money. And like, it was people that got bond out, they had to pay out of their own pockets, And I'm like, they had the money. I don't have no money. I'm getting calls saying, where the money at? They told us you had the money. I said, I didn't never touch nobody money.
Okay.
Right. Don't put the money.
You didn't even know the
Exactly.
money was being
I didn't even
raised
know.
to do
I
that.
didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know.
Right.
And it's like, as you all, because I'm putting it out there. I'm looking for help, but I'm also focused. And people is like they're doing certain things, and I'm not the victim. My daughter was the victim, but don't try to put me a part of that because I don't believe in using people.
And I think that's the question. I mean, Kendra spoke on it, but I think some of the other activists that are out here, if you've had direct contact with them, or if you haven't, what would be what would be the overall message to them right now? Because I understand where you stand, but what would be the overall message to them? Because sometimes I feel that they can do more harm than help.
Exactly.
In this situation.
Exactly.
So what when you sit up, if you had one message that you want to say to them, what would it be?
My message to them is stop taking advantage. And if they haven't took advantage of nobody, then don't do it. Especially when a time of need, when someone is begging and grieving, don't take advantage of them. Do what's right, and stop using God's name in vain. Because you could trick a whole lot of people with the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I never met none of the activists, besides Mark. I knew him, from the neighborhood.
Right.
Personally, none of the activists. So they're coming out and they introducing themselves. Well, of course, you make it seem as if they're here to help you. And all along, everybody's out for the same purpose.
Mm.
So I'm not going to say everybody, but the ones that fall into that category.
Right.
And it's sad.
It's such a devastating story. So at this moment, and just to pick off what Kyle said, because the photos came out publicly. Was that your first time seeing the photos too?
Well, they showed us 4 of the photos when she was in the freezer, and one of the photos, the 5th photo, that was like a picture of her when she's walking in the through the lobby. You know.
Well, when I saw the photos on last weekend, I was heartbroken because, my mom passed, and I have photos when my mother died, but obviously they're not public. I never want them to be public. And I was like, this story has become so transparent that all these photos and your daughter's last final hours we get to see. And I was just like, it's sad to me, because at the end of the day, this is a public story and we all need answers, but then you are also a mother. And this is your child. And do we really want to have the world see your child at her last moments? It's just difficult. So we all feel for you. We all feel for you, because to go through any loss is terrible. To go through it in front of the public eye is unimaginable.
Exactly.
So from the city of Chicago, so you do not agree with the simple story of your daughter walking into the freezer and freezing to death. That is not acceptable to you.
That's not acceptable.
Okay.
Especially when it was cameras that should have showed not only besides the back of her, but the front of her as well. It was a camera directly over this freezer.
They haven't showed us images of that.
I know. At the meeting, the closing of the meeting, I asked the detective and also as well as the sergeant. And the sergeant said aggressively, there wasn't no camera. So I guess the camera disappeared too.
Right. Because all the images we've seen are her walking through the kitchen, but then she disappears and we don't see her actually walk into the freezer. But you're saying there was definitely a camera there.
It was definitely a camera there.
What about the statement? Because there was a lot of controversy about whether or not Andrew Holmes actually said, we see on the camera her walk into the freezer and the door closed behind her. I was one of the people that said, I know I heard him say that. But then when I went back and I tried to find the transcripts, I couldn't find it.
Andrew Holmes called my phone. I had just got out of, I'm still a little sedated from my surgery, because I had an infection, And he stated to me on the phone, which I made a live of that too. Mm-hmm. He said, early that day, and I was so, distraught because I'm like, did you see the camera? He said he saw her. He saw the camera of her walking into this freezer.
Physically walking into the freezer.
I heard him say that. Yeah. And I asked, and I said, for real? He said, yeah. Because they was trying to get me to come down there by myself. I said, no, I'm not going to come down there. I want my attorney. Yeah. I'm not coming because I was afraid.
Right.
If they doing all this lying from the beginning, what makes me think they won't try to do something to me? So I said, okay. He told me to get on. He said, what you should do is get on live and make a live and tell them that you saw the camera of Kenneka walking into the freezer. I said, okay. He said, because the hotel is not making no money. They want us to stop this. They want us to stop. They want to stop saying the Hotel Crown Plaza want us to end it. I said, okay. The protest. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. So I thought about it, with me just hurting. I lost my daughter. Wait, I'm just getting over cancer, lost my daughter, and then I have a person I'm being portrayed, stating as if they're for me, they're gonna get answers. Then you give me these type of answers, but without me even seeing the video. Like, you're a complete stranger. You popped up from nowhere.
Right.
You want me to, but I don't believe your words either, because even though the Bible tells you watch as well as pray. So you mean to tell me I'm going to listen to your words and do exactly as you say?
Not having seen it for yourself.
Not having seen it for
You're
myself.
saying he just wanted you to say what he told you.
If that's the fact, me just want to listen to words. I would have listened to the Rosemont Police Department when they stated my daughter just walked in there with no type of exit way, no way to get out this freezer.
Right.
I'm not listening to words. Show me. Right.
So
when it was cameras.
So as a follow-up to that, I just want to ask you, since you obviously don't believe the narrative that they gave you, what do you believe actually happened? Are you saying I'm still looking for information, or this is what I believe happened? Do you have something that you believe happened?
I believe that it's a cover-up. I believe I'm still looking for answers. They can't see if I wouldn't have never saw these cameras, they could have showed me exactly what they're saying to me. I'm not denying nothing, but show me. That's all I asked them in the first place.
So the autopsy report says that she wasn't violated. You don't believe the autopsy report?
No.
Okay.
They didn't see any signs of violations.
Oh, okay.
No. Because from the pictures, what do you think?
The pictures did. Now, I'm going to be honest. When I saw the pictures, because her shoe was off, like she was scratched, it looked like something happened to her. But then when we looked more, was it hypothermia?
The definition of hypothermia, and in the last stages is hypothermia. It feels like your body's burning. People try to take off their clothes, and you actually kind of go insane, for lack of a better term. You could do anything from viciously scratching yourself, hitting your head up against walls, or whatever. So when we read the definition of hypothermia and the symptoms and the stages of it.
And within that definition, it also states that they're normally, the average person is normally found naked, right?
Completely naked.
Completely naked, exactly. So, once again, no signs of sexual assaults, right? But you see in the pictures is her breast is out and her pants is unbuttoned and halfway down. So maybe not, no signs of it. But I don't know what's the sign. What do they call the sign of sexual assault? Right.
So you're not saying I believe she was sexually assaulted, but you are saying, show me some proof to the things you're telling me.
That's it.
Did you reach?
That's it. Proof.
Right.
Did you reach out to anybody to do an independent autopsy? Not one that the city did, but one that you did on your own. Maybe there was somebody you could reach out to. I want to do an independent autopsy.
Yes, I did. I did have my. God bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, we did. We had our own independent autopsy. I'm still waiting on the results.
Okay, so those results are not back yet.
Yes, we had it done after. The medical examiner did theirs.
I think, and this is just my personal opinion on it. What I really hate about this whole situation is there was a young lady with a promising life ahead of her. I understand that she had just got a new job and was about to start doing great things, and all we can talk about is conspiracy theories. And I, as a father of 3 daughters, I don't know, I'd be out of my mind. People's lives would change because I'd be out here crazy. So I commend you for keeping it together. But it's just sad that we have to have all this mess over this young girl's life instead of her just being able to rest in peace, which we're trying to find the answers to so she can rest in peace. I get it, but it's just it's heart-wrenching for me because seeing the pictures of her, I start thinking about my 18-year-old, and when I had a conversation with her about this is why it's important to be aware of your surroundings and everything else, because you're just speechless. You know what I'm saying? And
not only did me searching for answers for my daughter, I not only thought about my daughter, I was unselfish enough to think about the world.
Everybody's children.
Everybody's children.
The village.
The
village.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I wanted them to be aware, because the way that they was telling me and the covering up, if it didn't happen before, it's going to happen again. So I wanted to bring awareness to
with
the
all
world.
the sex trafficking and stuff that's going on out here.
Somebody.
It leaves the door.
Save somebody.
Are you? What are your feelings towards her friends that were with her that night? Do you hold any blame towards them?
Like I stated to them, I'm not blaming anyone, because everybody at the hotel I look at as a suspect. Okay. I'm not saying that they did it. Everybody that was there that night,
Okay.
So, like how I told them, I stated to them after they came to my house looking, I said, I'm not saying y'all did this to my daughter, but what I am saying, you all should have had enough loyalty not to leave my daughter.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I can't feel, hatred or none of this, and then I know people probably judge me or whatever. They're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Especially since you teach, I know I do specifically. I literally just said this to my daughter yesterday, who was 18, like Leon's oldest. I said, yo, when y'all out here moving around, it's safety in numbers. Y'all stay together. Y'all go somewhere together. You come back together. Everybody watches out for each other. You don't let nobody stray off.
Right.
So I totally understand you saying, look, you may not have done this, but you let my daughter wander off.
Exactly.
And this is a result of what happened.
Exactly.
Now, but from the videotapes, it does seem like your daughter was intoxicated. Was she drinking, or was it pills? Do you agree that maybe she was under the influence in some way?
And it's the epileptic medicine, too.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, can you explain that?
Now, see, from my understanding, as me speaking with the doctor, he stated to me that that level that they're trying to say, because I'm reaching out and asking,
Right.
And he stated to me that that's not even a level where you could be sloppy drunk, as though the video's saying. He said that's like a tipsy level, and the medication is not enough, strength to have her like this. So, which shows that she, whichever went on, whatever was in her system, she was still strong enough to try to fight it off. She's still trying to look for a way out. How could that, go unacknowledged from the security, from the hotel? Some employees that was down there in the area that she was seen in. How could not, no one not notice my child? And then when we came up there looking for my child, why we couldn't get no help from no one?
We don't really have the words, to take away the pain. I wish we had it. We've all experienced loss in our own personal lives, so we do understand what you're going through. We want you to know that our hearts are with you.
Thank you.
And that we appreciate you coming on our show this morning and giving your side to the story. This is a story that has touched all of Chicago, and not just Chicago, all outside of Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not sure if it's public. You mentioned a second ago, but you experienced breast cancer.
Yes.
And the week that everything was happening, the reason why Andrew Holmes saw the videotape before the mother is because you had surgery that day.
And he knew that I was going to have surgery.
She was going to
that
surgery.
Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah, she had surgery the Wednesday prior. So that is why he saw the video prior to you. And how is your health in that manner right now? Are you fine with the cancer? Is it completely gone?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Well,
Yes,
thank God for
Thank
that.
God, yes.
Yeah,
Thank God for that.
But no
Absolutely.
chemos, radiation, no pills. Gone.
People, you are still in people's prayers. People still want to help you. So
Thank
do you
you.
have any outlet? We know there was different outlets for people to donate monies. Are there anything that someone listening right now that might want to contribute to you financially in any way? Is there a way that they can do so?
Right now I don't have no outlets.
Okay.
I had a UCare, but I closed that down.
Okay.
So how are you carrying on from here then to, like, what steps or what petitions or what moves are you making? Because I know you said you want them to reopen that investigation. How are you trying to get them to do that? You just...
Well, hopefully by coming to you all,
Okay.
attending everybody, reaching back out to everyone that reached out to me as far as coming on to their show as a guest.
Yeah.
I'm ready now. See, I had to see what their findings was, or try to get help from them, maybe figuring, because I didn't want to talk about something I didn't know about.
Right.
But here go the proof with the pictures and all that. Just what I thought. Something just not right.
Okay. Understood. One last question I wanted to ask you. Earlier we spoke on this, and you said that Rosemont, well, we spoke on it, the fact that Rosemont turned down help from the FBI.
Right.
Are you able to go to the FBI directly and
Yourself,
say, I don't want
know.
to deal with them. Can y'all help me?
I don't know. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to do that. I don't know how that works, but I'm going to find out.
Yeah.
And before we let you go, something I want you to get this out to the world, to any young ladies that might be listening, around the age of your daughter. Just play the role of big sister or mother or auntie in their life. Give them a message right now from your loss. Give them a message to them. Something that they need to take heed to.
Okay. This to the young girls. I know y'all think y'all parents, especially, your mothers and your fathers, don't. They know everything, in all nationality they do. When it comes to listening to your parents, listen. As far as your friends, if you're gonna be friends, don't leave one another. Keep that loyalty within. If you go out together, come back together.
Mm-hmm.
Don't never underestimate. Always expect the unexpected at all times.
Absolutely. We appreciate your strength.
Absolutely.
We love you so much.
Yeah, we
we
admire
love you
you
so much. Your family is in our prayers.
No
Like,
doubt.
I just wish we had more words to give, but just know that the love is there. And you spoke to the city of Chicago, and you are the mother, so we will honor your wishes.
Thank you.
Do you want all the conspiracy theories on Facebook to stop? Though we didn't bring that up,
Yeah.
but how was that with all the Facebook people coming in with their ideas? Did that hurt you
Confusing.
in any way? With, like, at one moment before we saw the video, it was allegations she was being, raped in the video, the first Facebook Live. Like, it was so many.
Or it was they were harvesting her organs. Like, I've heard some of the craziest stuff, and to the point where, having met you and having talked to you, and I was like, yo, dog, like I'm in a barbershop, man, fam, come on, y'all got to stop this. It's confusing enough as it is.
Right.
Exactly. See, I say it like this. Why, of course, people are going to speak up on something they don't know about.
Okay.
It ain't nothing no one could say to me that can hurt me more than me losing my child.
Mm.
So everything they saying is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Unless they could show me that camera that was on top of that freezer, then I'm going to listen. Why, of course I watch.
Right.
But I'm not falling into it. See, they wasn't there to see this camera that was directly on top of this freezer. I know this. That's why, okay, it's good to look at the theories because, hey, the hotel wasn't, or the Rosemont Police Department wasn't giving us anything. My attorney study asking them for, had to go to court to subpoena these records, and we're still not getting them all. So, hey, like I said, when we went to this closing of this meeting, as far as my daughter in this freezer, they only showed us 4 pictures, but then they put up in there, on their website, more pictures than what they showed us.
Right.
And then they also, I forgot, before we say in this, they said it wasn't no faulty foul play. I wonder, what was that? Did y'all see the picture of her fingernail?
I don't remember seeing that particular picture.
I don't know if that was black ice on her nail or a piece of a garbage bag. So, all this, why not take fingerprints?
Right.
You see all this evidence. And then, okay, they didn't see anything, no faulty play. Somebody, FBI, somebody look up into it to try to help.
And just to be clear, you're saying that they're actually, with your own eyes, you saw a camera that was pointing directly to the freezer.
That was over the top of the freezer.
Yes, that
So
was
you
over
would
top.
have had a visual of
That's
anybody
right.
walking
Right.
in and out in that area.
Exactly.
With your own eyes.
And what did they say that when you asked about that camera, you get no answer?
The day of, as I'm looking at the freezer when my daughter laying there on the stretcher, in the white bag, that day, I asked the detective and the sergeant about that camera. I pointed to the camera, and I asked him, did that camera work? Because he told me it wasn't no camera in there around, like that could have caught her walking into this freezer. So I said, is that camera working? They looked back as a shock, and the detective stated to me, he don't know. He's going to, look into it. Okay. So that was the first lie, because you said it wasn't it wasn't no way that you could see her entering or exiting this freezer. And the sergeant just said flat out, no, that camera didn't work.
Wow. So all the cameras work, but the one camera that needs to confirm
one that's
everything.
important, right.
And
But the freezer was still operational.
yeah, but the
Right.
freezer, and then also
I can see how I can see you as a mom not being okay with the information, because just as a public figure, I'm just going off information given, and it's like, well, it seems like maybe what's been presented to us, it seems like maybe she was unfortunately inebriated, didn't know where she was going, like she was finding somewhere to go and walked into the freezer, and that could have been the end of it. But after talking to you and saying if there actually was a camera that can show everything, that does raise more questions.
Yeah, it sounds like, with everything that you've given us today, it makes me feel like we got just enough public information to agree with this narrative, and here's what we're showing you. That's it, guys. Case closed.
exactly.
Yeah, I can understand your feelings, no question.
And it's so crazy how could this,
Yeah,
the Justice Department, United States Justice Department allowed this to be. I know somebody hearing us and hearing me that hurt me, and someone seeing it.
Do you still have your attorneys? Do you still have your lawyers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, once again, we thank you. We hopefully you said everything that you would like people to know about what's going on, and you get further help with this case. If you're not ready for it to be closed, then so be it. Let it continue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you for taking the time to come up here today.
You're welcome.
Speak to us. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before you go?
Oh yeah.
Because you look like you had something on your mind really quick.
As far as the videos, as we can see, the person that allegedly found my daughter's body in his freezer, he took a set of keys, opened his freezer, from what it appears to be. Opened the door, and it took keys for him to open the door.
To get her out.
To get her
So
out.
that means
to
she was
acknowledge
locked
that
in.
she was in there. So she was locked in. So how, if this door was locked, how in the world, if the kitchen closed or abandoned or whatever, how could she get up in this freezer by herself? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't it have took them same set of keys
To
or
open
some
the
kids
door.
to open the door just like it took for
That's fair.
them to open the door
That's
to
very
get her
fair.
out, or to acknowledge all of a sudden that she's up in there umpteen hours later?
Yeah.
That's a good
A
question.
lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
But they said no faulty play, no foul play.
Right. Well, we hope you get the answers.
Yes.
We hope you get the answers. I mean, at the end of the day, we hope you get the answers that'll let you, sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? I know it's got to be difficult to not know exactly what happened to your own child. So we don't wish that on anybody. We're happy to see that you're strong, but we wish for you to have some sort of closure in this case.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Chicago, Miss Teresa Martin, and mother Kenneka Jenkins, man, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You all have a great one. And thanks for having me once again, y'all.
Definitely.
Thank you.